Hey, this is John Levin of Dawkins, and you're watching CMS TV.
All right, that was a little taste of Unearth, brand new stuff from the new album, The Wretched The Ruinous. And here to join this Wretched and Ruinous show, the one, the only, it is Buzz McGrath from Unearth. Buzz, how are you, brother? Oh, I can't hear you. Of course not.
Yeah.
You're sort of reconnect, man. Go out and come back in. Okay.
So that was pretty awesome. That I think 2 poltergeists just shot out of my speakers when you played that.
He'll be back in a second. He's definitely coming in. But yeah, they're heavy, man. They're definitely a heavy. You know me, dude. You can't make the music heavy enough for me.
Is he the singer now?
He is the drummer or guitar player.
Guitar player. Cool.
No, or drummer. I don't know.
I'll find out.
Yeah, no, he's the guitar player. I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember. You know, they've had a few lineup guys, but he's one of the original guys. Let's see, he is back. All right, you there, man?
Maybe now.
There you are. Perfect.
All right.
What is
this?
up,
I feel
Buzz?
like this happens every time. Like,
Of course,
you know.
we're well aware of it with the live show, man. It never goes smooth, man. Well, dude, how
Yeah.
you doing, man? Good to see you once again.
I'm all right, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, man. So, dude, before we get into talking about this is going to go way, way back. And you may remember this, you may not, but it was a fun story for me. A zillion years ago on, I guess it would have been Oncoming Storm for you guys. I was doing a show called The Metal Show on WMMS here in Cleveland. And we brought you guys in. We used to do these things called extreme sessions where we would bring the bands in like in the afternoon of a day that you guys had a show. And we would invite like a small little thing, like 8-10 fans at most, to a recording studio in town. And you would come in and you would, you guys would play like 3 or 4 songs and then you'd sign autographs or, take pictures with fans or whatever. And we brought you guys in to do this. And what I remember was, I don't remember if it was a tour manager or if it was Trevor, back then, whoever it was that was handling you guys at the time on the road. We would get this little tiny budget for like a rider. We called it a mini rider. And we were like, and usually it was because you guys are coming in the afternoon. It was like, okay, we'll go get you some fucking lunch or something, right? So we asked you guys, or we asked whoever it was, what do the guys want? Do you want some Boston Market or rotisserie chicken or Burger King or whatever you guys want, right? The response we get back is 3 bottles of Jack Daniels. So
I knew that was coming.
So we were like, okay, fair enough. So we go get the 3 bottles of Jack Daniels. You guys come to the event. We have a great time at the event. You guys kicked ass. I mean, it was weird because most of the time when we had bands do it, they would come in and do some acoustic version of what they do. Not you guys. You guys came in and we're in a little recording studio about the size of a closet. You guys are just,
I remember it.
Yeah, it was great.
It was like a little awkward because like it's all like the songs are just like moshers.
Right.
It was like the people who were there were like, do they expect us to mosh? Is this that type of event?
Right.
So it was a little confusing to everyone involved, but it was still fun.
It was totally fun. But what was the most fun was after the show ended, you guys just kind of the quote unquote stage was maybe a 6-inch platform off the actual floor. It wasn't like a stage, but you guys just kind of came to the edge of the stage. Somebody went and got the bag of Jack Daniels, ripped them all open, and you guys were just passing the bottles around of the Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Everyone in the room was hammered. You guys
And the
were
moshing
hammered.
began.
It really could have been. I mean, there was only like 10, 12 of us there. Everybody was drunk. And I just remember saying to my radio partner at the time, I was like, how the fuck are these guys going to play their gig in 6 or 7 hours or whatever? But you guys did. You came back. I think you're playing at Peabody's Down Under or something.
Yep, we were a little bit younger then, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you'd still be sleeping, right?
yeah. We're trying to be in bed by 10 p.m.
Exactly. Very good, dude. Well, dude, obviously, man, the reason you're on tonight is you have this killer record, and I'm sure you heard me talking about it in the walk up. The
Yes,
Wretched The Ruinous is without question I will say best record you guys have done since 2004, 5. Like Oncoming Storm's always my kind of go-to, and
Yeah, that's everyone's go-to.
yeah, this is as good or better, man. Bravo to you guys for still having the fire to bring this kind of rage, man. Fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying all those nice things about it. It's cool to like work hard on something and just have some positive feedback on it.
Right.
It must all start with you also. I mean, as far as the writing of the songs, I mean, this is like a guitar driven, band riff wise. So it must start with you, right?
Yeah, it starts with the riff, and then I mess with some drums, and then we get the drummer in on it, and then vocals. Trevor sits on the demos and stews on them, and gets his brain nice and mossy, and then he has something cool to yell over at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Buzz, with this one, I mean, it's been a little while. It's for you guys. It's been 5 years since Revelations. Is this pandemic music, or is this stuff that you wrote after? I mean, because I imagine you as a guitar player, especially pandemic, and Eric is a guitar player. He plays with Stephen Piercy. And I know you guys all, when you have nothing to do, there's a guitar in your hand and you're like, oh, let me put that on my phone, and then you record it for your phone. So is that how it went with you? Or did you guys come into session to write?
No, I had time, I just had a ton of time, and I would just pick a couple days a week I would just sit in front of the computer all day and just hammer out riffs. Cause you have to get rid of the bad ideas. For me, writing, it's like a muscle that you need to like work out. So when you jump into it, it's just all dog shit coming out.
Right.
So for me, I have to fight through that and push and push and push. And then at the end of the day, maybe you have a kernel of a good idea. But for me, it's all about how much, like, just putting in time. And I had a lot of time, and it wasn't like, I mean, I didn't do shit for like months, just, hung out and did drugs and fucking got drunk for most of it. Right. But, I was like, I started thinking, all right, I want to make some more music. And we had time. We had a bunch of songs too. So we whittled it down to like, the 11 or the 10 that's on the record.
Right on.
So there was a lot of material there.
Definitely. Well, look at who joins us as well. It is Trevor Phipps. Trevor, how are you, man?
What's up, gentlemen?
Good to see you.
That is T-Bone to you guys.
That's right.
Good to see you guys.
We'll address him as such.
That's right.
What's happening?
Well, not
Welcome, Mr. T-Bone, sir.
Hello. We're just talking about you guys' great release, dude. And I was telling Buzz, as we got started, I put this right next to Oncoming Storm as far as your catalog, man. It's just, but I do want to address that this one, for anybody that has followed you guys over the years, it's a very different record for you guys. To me, it's the most different from anything that you've done. Stuff like we played a little bit of Mother Betrayal as an example. I love that big, thick, kind of slow vibe that you have going in a part of it, in parts of the songs. It's a different record for you guys. It's not just bludgeon you to death for an hour as you do a lot of times. So was that something that you guys worked on putting into the newer stuff, or is it just the way it developed?
I feel like I just love big shit.
Okay.
Like things that like I like Barry Manilow, choruses, Air Supply, big things happening.
Yacht rock backstage after the show. Always.
And I feel like
always.
that is like kind of my inspiration. That's like big sounding shit, big moments, big energy.
I don't think Air Supply and Unearth has ever been compared before.
No, but it's like the I guess the mojo behind it is similar.
Sure.
The energy. For me, I mean, this is a fucking leap for anyone to take. But
and
only I
celebrate
know.
their entire catalog.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, guys, before we dive too deep into the record, I do want to go backwards a little bit. We were talking a little bit about the pandemic, and I don't want to get into a whole pandemic conversation, but I imagine for you guys, and from what I know about Unearth, you guys are a live band. That's you guys' bread and butter is being out on the road and playing. I imagine for you guys, the pandemic was an absolutely murderous, terrible time, not just financially, but just because you're so used to being out there playing. How did you guys get through it? How did you survive it?
For me, I mean, it was very strange to not to play. So I think that it definitely wore on me emotionally in one sense, is I've been playing in bands since I was 15.
Right.
And so it's the bulk of my life. And so when that could cut off, it was really strange. And of course it was strange for everyone, but to lose that entirely was it definitely affected me. But yeah, I spent the time with family, a lot of quality time with my kids. I was able to find some work later on in the pandemic and learn some new skills in that sense. So I made the most of it. But yeah, leaving the performance stage and getting to play music with your friends around the world was definitely something that I missed terribly.
Was it hard to get back in? I know it's easy to get awful comfortable. You get comfortable being home. You see your kids. It's like, all right, I'm not, sleeping in a van or on a bus or in a hotel. You start getting comfortable once you come off the road. Was it hard to jump back into it, or were you like, nah, fuck it, I'm ready to go?
I couldn't wait to play.
Our first show back was Furnace Fest. A couple years ago. And that for me felt great. Like that's like one of my favorite shows we've ever done. Cause like we haven't played in so long, and then I felt the love there that day.
Sure.
It was like, for me, it was like moving.
Yeah. It was a very Posy Fest is what it was called that day. Like everyone was so happy to be back at a gig at a festival, and a lot of old friends. Did
you say Fonzie Fest?
Fonzie Fest. Posy Fest. But
I'm sorry. I missed.
Fonz was always Posy, wasn't
it? Yeah, right.
Liz Buzz. It's not an IPA.
Wow, look at you slumming it,
making strides. Yeah, tour was once we kicked into touring full time. It felt really natural. That wasn't until this past summer.
Okay.
End of July, and it was our first real tour, and that felt unreal to be back.
Sure.
It was an emotional experience to be back out there and having so much fun.
Sure. Now I've been to several shows, but that first, I don't know, I'll say 6 months when people started feeling okay to go to shows. There was a time, in early 2021 when there were shows, but there was mid to the late 2021 when everybody started getting comfortable, and I do want to say started getting comfortable, because I went to a couple of shows that I would have expected to be completely sold out shows, like Seven Dust in a club for like 1,500 people or whatever. And they were not attended very well at first. It was very, there's like 400 people at a venue that's always sold out for bands. And for you guys, did you see that it was kind of a slow build for the audience to come back, or were they back right away?
We had shows when we first came back that they would have like 600 pre-sold tickets, and only 400 people would show up.
Yeah, like what happened to the people that got
200 people got like cold feet, or maybe it was like it was starting to spike again, and people were like, I should probably stay home. So that was weird.
Yeah, it definitely it seems like it's taken a little while for people to get back, but I don't know. To me, it seems like people are back. Now the last show I went to, it was absolutely packed. I didn't see a mask anywhere in sight, and it was like, all right, I guess people
It's
are over
full
this
on
thing.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very good, man. Well, guys, for you, the Wretched the Ruinous, as we said, it is 5 years after Revelations. I don't know, it seems like I'm saying this more and more, that it's been this many years and it's a long break or whatever. But I think with the pandemic, you really kind of got to erase those years. I mean, do you think if we hadn't all been locked down, you would have had a record out quicker? Or did you guys more or less need that time to take a break and recharge regardless of what was going on?
I think that's usually our pace anyways.
Okay.
Hey, we've had records that are 2 years apart. We've had records that are 4 years apart. This was extra long. But the record was it was on pace to be out before. We had some delays. Didn't finish vocals on time. Then I had to play with Will Putney's schedule to finally finish up the vocals. But yeah, about 3 or 4 years is more of our time frame. The past few records.
Sure.
It'd be good to pick it up a bit faster.
Right.
The next one, but this time will tell how this album cycle goes. Extinction's album cycle got cut in half.
Right.
We're in Europe actually in early 2020. We flew home on March 1st, so it was full on pandemic in Europe at that time, and it was really sketchy to be there. But it's funny, we flew to the U.S. and it was like almost like nothing was going on yet. It took us all 2 weeks before things got weird.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that album got cut in half. Album cycle got cut in half, and then we didn't do much the first year. Buzz actually made a joke over email once. I forget exactly what you said, Buzz. It was something like we should just break up, pretend to break up, and come back in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, because like you get that when you retire, and then you like bands do it all the time. They break up, and then they all reunion show, and now it's like everyone's psyched again.
Right.
Had we had just said reunion show, it would have been easier.
You could have got the blabbermouth Buzz twice. Got the breakup announcement and the rejoined announcement, and
exactly.
Look, it's Unearth. They're back, and so is Shadows Fall. It'd be like, look at all these reunions happening.
It would have worked because we couldn't have done anything anyways. Because we had members where our band has always been scattered around the country ever since the initial nucleus of the band that started the band broke up. We've been kind of scattered around the country.
Sure.
So it's not like we were doing any touring.
Right.
So, or even doing live streams, so it would have made sense to make that fake.
Well, for the next pandemic, keep it in mind, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's around the corner.
Right. Well, guys, one big change in the band, and it's not so much as a change as a reunion. I see Mike came back on drums after a long time away, 15 years or something away from the band. How did that happen that he comes back after so long away?
Our drummer Nick, who was our drummer for about 10 years or so, he decided to leave the band. So we were, kind of thinking, who should we get? And then Mike's name just came up, and we had a conversation with him, and he was into it, and it's been fun.
Was it? Did he have to kind of relearn, not relearn the parts or learn the parts, because obviously, but did he change as a player? Because I know, with any musicians, y'all got to kind of find your way to feeling comfortable and how you play off each other, whatnot live. When somebody goes away and comes back, they come back with their old ideas.
I think he changed. He got more groovy from spending the last however many years playing drums for Madball.
Okay, yeah.
So he played drums for Madball and still does. And that band is really groove based.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that helped him really hone that part of his craft.
Okay. Very good.
It's been a lot of fun playing with Mike again. He's a pro out there on the road. He's from the Northeast, just like us, and it's
what happened? Why did he leave in the first place? What happened?
We kicked him out like in 2007.
Okay.
We think we just weren't getting along. The four of us went in one direction and he went into another one, and we just,
musically or politically?
Not really, just like personally.
And
it just we kind of really just grew apart to the point where we weren't having a good time with him. But I think we've all grown and changed in that time.
Right.
We were way different people back then, all of us.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in
hindsight, I think maybe we could have approached it differently, but that's you can't have hindsight really. And we
Right
we
now.
were in our 20s then, and things weren't going well between 4 members versus 1, and
Right.
it just came to a boiling point after
Sure.
a few shows got messed up. But he's a true pro, and he's awesome to be on tour with. And happy.
He probably appreciates it more, appreciates being back and getting another chance to rock with you guys again.
And he stayed active with a bunch of bands, especially Madball, and they're on tour right now in Europe, killing it. So, and I just saw a video tonight online of him singing for Madball for a song.
Oh, wow.
I saw that. It was awesome. He was going
hard
nuts
up there.
Yeah.
looking for my job, man.
Yeah, you better watch your back, man.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Nice. Well, guys, the band, the business itself, you know, when I first met you guys in the 2000s, there was still money to make. You know, there was still money to make, at least in recording. You know, now that business is gone. It seems like, it just seems like there's no real financials to make. It seems like you guys make records as an excuse to get back out on the road and play, and, you know, maybe sell some merch at shows or whatever. So what is it that makes you guys continue to write full-length albums and record? Because it is a process. And, you know, like you said, you work with Will Putney. Will's one of the most in-demand guys in the world, which means you got to, you know, direct your time and your schedule around his time and around you guys' individual time to record. And you do that knowing that you're not going to get, you know, 100,000 sales or 50,000 sales or whatever. You know, it's just so hard to make money with it. What drives you to keep doing it?
I think just, you're right. We should stop.
No,
I
mean
think
that.
you just got, like, full-length albums, are they really even like in demand anymore? I don't know. I think maybe just that's maybe we're old and that's just what we're used to, and that's what we do.
Right.
And like the music's in there and it comes out and you feel like you have a good batch of songs and you want to show them to people.
Right. Do you find that people are like, do they come to the shows and buy, I don't even know what format you buy anymore, CDs or vinyl or
Vinyl? I think, Trevor, we usually just have vinyl now. Do we even bring CDs to shows?
We don't bring them to the shows later in the cycle. At first we do.
Okay.
Sorry, I gotta go get my son. He woke up from bed. I'll be right back.
Okay. No problem.
But yeah, vinyl is hot. Like, people buying that all the time. That just outsold like CDs for the first time in like 30 years or something.
Yeah.
So the vinyl does well, like, because you can do all color variants and people are just into it. Like, I think that's pretty cool.
Right. No, I mean, it's cool that it's back. The weird thing with vinyl is I don't know a whole lot of people that have a turntable. You know, I think people buy the vinyl as a collectible, you know, more or less.
They still have it downloaded probably, but they want
a lot of people like the piece, you know, like to have it, and it's because it's cool, you know.
Yeah.
And like vinyl was like, it was taking a long time to get made because everybody, like the pressing plants, threw away all the equipment to make the records. So wait times to get vinyl done is like 9 months. It got crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a different animal. I'm always curious for guys like yourself, you know, bands that don't have the Metallica catalog, you know, that every time they shit out anything, it sells, you know, and they get 1 billion streams and all that stuff. For regular kind of blue collar metal bands like yourselves, is there any benefit at all to these streaming services? Because I know it's not money. I know it's not, well, we're out there online and we're making cash, because every band I talk to, they say, well, we've got 8 zillion streams and we've made like $32, you know?
Yeah.
So do those services help you guys just because it puts you out there for people to hear the music, or is it just kind of, this is what everybody does, so you do it?
Yeah, it's kind of both of those. Like, this is kind of, if you want to get your music in people's hands, you got to deal with this unfair system.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if it gets people turned on to your band and into the show, they gets people into the building. That's what you do it for, you know. And they like Spotify, for instance. I never see anything. I've never seen a dime from them, or whatever. But there's other revenue streams for that. Like if it gets played on radio or XM, there's like you can get a little bit of checks from those plays. But we're mostly in the ticket and T-shirt industry.
Right, exactly. I know, not that it helps a whole lot, but maybe it puts a nickel in your pocket at some point. For us, we do a lot of the social media stuff, and all of the dumbest shit ever. All the social media things now have, the YouTube shorts or the TikToks or whatever, the reels. They let you put you guys' music in the stuff as part of the deal. So I always try to put like the smaller bands into, bands that I'm a fan of, like Unearth. I like to try and put that stuff into the reels, because I know at least there, the YouTube shorts or the reels or whatever, they get a lot of plays, and it's like, all right, well, maybe we can help somebody out a little bit that needs it.
Yeah, that's great.
But how sad is it that we're in that world now where you got to be reliant on getting 30 seconds of your song into a quick clip or something.
You hope it's goes viral and just people see it a lot,
Right. It's such a weird business that we're in now, man. I mean, it definitely, it's amazing to me that the live industry completely overwhelmed the recorded industry. Cause when you talk to old guys like me, that grew up on, I don't know, Led Zeppelin, Motley Crue, Deep Purple, whatever, and even the 80s into the 90s, even the Korn and stuff like that. It was, you bought a record, you got into it, you read the liner notes, you knew everything about the band. It was an experience that you carried on forever. Now, you see a graphic on a screen on Spotify that's the size of a postage stamp, and that's about as close as you get to the band.
Yeah, the whole adventure of like, bring home a CD and like I would learn everything about the band.
Yeah.
Thanks lists, production notes, like I would just geek out on. That was part of the experience for me. Now it's like you put a song on, you're like, yeah, this sucks, you kind of just move on. Well, the worst, and also conversely, the worst part about that is like you'd save up like your money and you get a record for like 10, 15 bucks to bring it home and it sucks.
Right.
That's worse. That is worse.
You're like, fuck, man.
I remember being a kid and loving to look at my parents' records and stuff. Like, for example, Fleetwood Mac, the Rumors album.
Yeah.
And when I would look inside, I thought that those guys were Sasquatches. I thought that Lindsey Buckingham was a Bigfoot. Because they had the big afro hair and the beards and everything, and I had just seen the Bionic Man episode where the Bigfoot was on there, and so that's how I learned what a Sasquatch was. And then when I was look at that record, I'd have it open up and I'm like, whoa, he's a Sasquatch. And then Mick Fleetwood also looked like a Sasquatch to me when I was 5. Anyway,
but ironically, you're still connected to the record. Because you,
I connected to it
with the record,
because Sasquatches have telepathic powers.
Jesus.
You see, so they were able to actually connect with me as a child.
All right, conspiracy nut.
I'd say though that the streaming services help prolong bands' careers. Or even reignite bands' careers, because record labels could, years ago could make a, they were almost solely in charge of a band living or dying.
Mm-hmm.
But now a band can just live through their socials and through streaming. They don't really need a label. It's good to have a label. We're happy to be on Central Media.
Sure.
Because they'll back the record and the recording, because it's worth it for them financially through these, through the vinyl sales and streaming services to get enough money to pay for a decent recording. But it also helps bands. This is our 25th year.
Right.
If labels didn't believe in us anymore, would we still have a touring career? I'm not sure we would. You need that extra backing. The whole industry is kind of in bed together, and they've kind of adjusted and figured out how to move forward with streaming being the main way to ingest or digest music.
Right.
I think we're in a decent spot.
Right, and a lot of time, and again, I'm not super anti-streaming. I'm anti that you guys don't get paid. But I streaming, I mean,
we're anti-reaming.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. But I mean, there are advantages to it. There's the advantage. One of the advantages to the streaming is just when you're listening to a certain style of music, a lot of times I find out that bands are still alive just because their song gets thrown into the algorithm. You know, I'll be listening to, I don't know, the new Machine Head album or something in the background, and it'll end, and then it goes into that automatic where it just starts playing songs that it thinks you'll like, and I'll get an Unearth song, or I'll get a Kill Switch song, or I'll get a, you know,
or just something you haven't even heard of that you like, you know.
Yeah, or something new. But a lot of times it's like some of the bands, like the other day I was listening to you guys' record. I put it on my I use YouTube Music, and they let you upload your stuff, but it still does that player thing after. So I was listening to you guys' record, getting ready for today, and then it just started playing whatever when the record ended, because I was off doing whatever I was doing, and all of a sudden I got like a Skin Lab tune popped in, and I was like, Skin Lab, forgot about those guys for a second, did a quick search, they're still out doing it. I was like, okay, cool. You know, it's like
it works.
It does work. There is some method to the madness. The sad part is that it doesn't work in a way that you guys could say, well, here's my check that I made for this year of $100,000. Let's split it up, and, you know, and we get something for this. Instead it goes for a whole year, and you get, if you're lucky, you get a check for $1,100 or something. And somehow I think even that's hard to find.
I think you have to justify it by I know what you mean entirely, and I agree to a certain extent, but you have to justify it to your music being available to more people.
True.
And so I'm seeing really heavy tours sell a lot of tickets, more than I think the new wave of American heavy metal in the early mid 2000s hit.
Yeah,
our bands were playing big rooms, but I think bands now are playing even bigger rooms. And it's like a new wave. And I think heavy music is really alive and well right now, and it's kind of like a new golden age, because so many different genres and subgenres, and they're all doing it well, and they have access to promoting it on their socials and streaming. And it's pretty exciting.
Sure. And you know, one of the things I always say this about the extreme bands, especially bands like your band, the fan base way more loyal than pop metal bands or any bands, really, you know, as far as they'll keep coming, they'll support what you're doing. And I mean, it's unfortunate that it's not millions and millions of people across the United States, that it's, you know, 100,000 people or whatever it is, but they'll keep going. And it gives you guys that opportunity to keep touring, which I think is fantastic. You know, I mean, you guys are getting ready to go out on this really, if you're into heavy music, this is one of the tours everybody should be marking. This tour with Unto a Burning Body and 156 Silence. You know, that's a great tour if you're into heavy music, and people will show up for it, where maybe in the mid 2000s people might not have, because they'd be waiting for the Mayhem Fest or the bigger Ozfest type festivals, where now I think the loyalty of the fans is there, and it proves it. Do you guys agree?
I think that if you put the right tour package together and it's promoted properly, then and fans reacting to your music, you have the best chance of it doing well. So we've seen a lot of positive feedback online about the tour, so we hope that it does well, of course. Sure. That's our first headliner, West Coast, Midwest, in about 5 years. Yeah, I mean, we have a really dedicated fan base. Like I said, it's 25 years. And I think our fans realize what real music is.
Right. So,
you know, a lot of music fans might just lean towards pop stuff, and like they listen to a song they like, move on to the next band. But if a fan is really into your catalog, that means they're really a fan of what you're putting out there, and they feel it. That's what we've always strived for, and what I think this new record really goes for.
Right on.
People are bringing their kids to our shows now, which is weird.
To sacrifice them to Satan?
Yes, sacrifice them
exactly.
to the pit.
Nice. Well, dude, it's definitely awesome. I, as a fan from way back, from I think the earliest days, I'm glad that you guys are still doing it, because you guys, you know, no bullshitting around, no ass kissing around. You guys murder live, straight up. One of the best, most energetic punch in the nuts band you're ever going to see is you guys. And I advise everybody to go see you guys, even if you don't know a note of your music. People should go see it just because it is such an energetic show. Like you said, you guys are out. When does that tour start? In May, right?
We start in 3 weeks. Actually 18 days. We start in Europe.
In Europe? Okay.
We're headlining a tour. We're taking out Misery Signals. Very heavy band. Year of the Knife, another American band, really heavy hardcore.
Sure.
A Swedish band called Leech, and then our friends in Turbid North are the opener.
Okay.
And then we come home for about 2 weeks. Then we go right back on the headliner, take out Upon the Burning Body and 156 Silence, and that goes right into us direct support for the Halo Effect for 7 days leading right up to Milwaukee Metal Fest. So we got a pretty busy next few months, and then in June we head over to Europe for a handful of festivals.
Wow, you guys are back full time, man. That's awesome. That's so good.
Records coming May 5th. Gotta support it.
That's
Where
right.
do they go? What website do they go to get the exact dates?
Unearth Official. All of our social media and our website, everything is just Unearth Official.
Unearth
Excellent.
Official, everyone.
There you go. So check that out, Unearth Official, and be ready for it. May 5th, as Trevor said, it is The Wretched, The Ruinous. It is a killer record. I cannot say how good this record is, and without you guys thinking I'm just kissing your ass, but it
Love to hear it.
It really is fucking great. So
Kiss on, Chris. Kiss on.
Exactly. Well, guys, I figured what I would do is wrap this one up with a little taste of the video for The Wretched, The Ruinous. What can you tell me about this video?
Wretched or Mother Betrayal?
We did Mother Betrayal.
Mother Betrayal. This treatment was actually written by Peter Lehman, who's playing guitar for us now. I told him the meaning of the song, and instead of being completely literal with the environmental lyrics, he wanted it to be something a little more artistic, and you can take more of a story from it. And
Okay.
He wrote the treatment. He hit up his friend Neil to do the video, and he's all into it. And he cast some actors, and check out the video. It tells a story of Mother Nature sacrificing herself to eradicate us.
Very good, man. Well, one more time, the album is The Wretched, The Ruinous. It is Unearth. And guys, thanks so much for joining us here on CHRIS Akin Presents.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
All right, guys.
tour, fellas.
Peace.
See you out there, guys.